Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So potentially I'm going to give you some more additional information in regards to Harry Maguire. Also going to keep you up to date with what's going on with Bruno Fernandes, and of course there is lots to talk about and all that, because obviously we do know there's so many players on Manchester United's agenda. Obviously we are looking to bring an experienced centre half in. Obviously want to add reinforcements in that midfield, regardless of what happens with Paul Pogba, and also, we are in search for a right winner. But I do believe, we also need to sell players, to help us generate funds, and of course, rebuild the squad. And obviously we do know that Paul Pogba and Romelu Lukaku have been relentlessly, linked to move away from Manchester United. But I do believe there's still lots to address in the squad. If we want to be back, being a competitive elite level football club, don't forget Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the other week was talking about our ambitions for this season, and he believes Manchester United, will be aiming for further up than fourth this season. Don't get me wrong, I'm still very sceptical about us winning the league at the moment. Winning the league in the Premier League this season. I'm still very sceptical about us winning the league. But I do probably believe, we'll probably maybe finish in the top four, maybe finish in the top three. But our expectations, I do believe this season probably will be at least to finish in the top four. But I initially said our aspirations will be top four in the next couple of seasons. Because analysing at the moment, City is strides ahead of us. Obviously, Liverpool is strides ahead of us. And it's very imperative that we catch up with like Manchester City and Liverpool. But like I said, we've got to be more competitive in this window. So far this summer, we spent £68 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka. And we have seen glimpses of what good signings they've proven to be so far, because Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka have done really well in pre-season. But I do believe anyway, the majority, all the young players have really stepped up in pre-season and all that. But with Daniel James, I'd still say he's a prospect and he needs time to develop. And with Wan-Bissaka, of course, I think he can be our fullback for the next decade. But Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, have both got all the ingredients required to become huge successes at Manchester United and all that. But I do believe we need more. I think we need to win at least another couple of more players in. But there's only now, 12, is it 12 days now remaining of this current transfer window. And I did initially say, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't get all the players that he wants in, you can basically say that the board have let Ole Gunnar Solskjaer down, because wait there a minute. You can basically say, that the board have let Ole Gunnar Solskjaer down and all that, because the board did assure that there was going to be backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this summer. But if he doesn't get all the players that he wants, the board have definitely currently let him down. And then, we'll be criticising the board. We'll also be criticising Ed Woodward. I do believe Ed Woodward has remained in the UK, because obviously, he wants to get some deals completed. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recommend a number of young players that can come in, grow, develop and emulate into superstars. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was recently talking about our recruitment policy. Because analysing, prior to this window, last couple of windows, we haven't been competitive enough. We didn't get anyone in January. Obviously, we didn't get our number one targets last summer. So like I said, we've got to be competitive in this current transfer window. But looking at it anyway, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say, there has been a lot of speculation about players coming in, of course, players going. But to be fair, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was reflecting on this transfer window. He's basically said, we've got two good signings in, we've basically, got to be patient. I do believe, Manchester United are definitely, going to get more of a transfer activity done. I think Bruno Fernandes is going to be coming in, which he's going to be a good signing for Manchester United. I do believe Harry Maguire is going to be coming in, so he's going to be a good sign there for Manchester United and all that. But analysing our current squad as it stands at the moment, at this present time, obviously, it isn't good enough and it isn't competitive. I did say, regardless of what manager we've got, and even if we had a manager who's got a proven pedigree and he, a manager to the highest level, they would still, currently struggle with this Manchester United squad at the moment. But I think we look better now as a team. Like I said, we've done really well in pre-season. 4 wins out of 4, 9 goals scored, only 1 goal conceded. But I think we've started pre-season really well, and I do believe we've got a lot more pace now in that attacking line. So we do look better in the attacking third of the pitch. You've got Daniel James that's got fantastic pace. You've also got Rashford and Martial that've got a fantastic pace. So our attacking line looks pretty good now. I do believe we still need to add a bit more experience in that attacking line, because we've got Rashford, Martial there young, Daniel James is young. You've got Mason Greenwood that's upcoming. Mason Greenwood has obviously been assured more playing time going on into this season, which is fantastic, because he did well for the reserves last season. Did Mason Greenwood? He scored 30 goals in 29 appearances, and he started pre-season really well, but still inexperienced, only 17 years of age. You've got Chong, he's inexperienced, but we've seen glimpses of his good form in pre-season. Chong's But like I said, we do look better in the attacking third of the pitch. But I think, we've definitely got to get a couple of new additions in that midfield, regardless of what happens with Paul Pogba. But potentially, I think we was actually initially orchestrating on, keeping Paul Pogba, but still bringing a couple of new additions in that midfield, top two players under Herrera and Mario Fellaini, because obviously, they're left back. Well, Herrera left, I think, at the end of last season, was it? Or was it a month or so ago now? Fellaini left back in January. So, like I said, we are currently, going to need replacements over them. But yeah, so obviously we do know there's quite a few players on our current agenda. So we will start with Bruno Fernandes. Now, I have been updating you about Bruno Fernandes on a regular basis. Now, according to recent reports, it's looking very imminent. He's going to be our third signing this summer, is Bruno Fernandes. And he reportedly said yesterday that reportedly Manchester United had reached a transfer agreement with Sporting Lisbon. And it reportedly said, around the £62 million fee has been agreed. So if we do get this deal finalised, which is looking very, very likely, it is going to take our spending up to around £130 million. I was reading their reports today, and it reportedly said that this was from the Express, allegedly, and it was stemming from a Spanish, I think it was stemming from Spain, was this narrative, and it reportedly said that it's hours away until Bruno Fernandes becomes an official Manchester United player and all that. But it said yesterday that we agreed around the £62 million fee with Sporting Lisbon. It reportedly said, he's set to fly to England, to undergo his medical with Manchester United ahead of his proposed move to Old Trafford. And I've actually just been reading Talk Sport, and they've actually said Talk Sport. They've basically said that Bruno Fernandes, it turns out, is actually not is not actually flying to the UK for his medical. And Talksport also said, as you go further down, that Manchester United and Sporting Lisbon have not come to an agreement on a fee. So that's actually according to Talksport. But either way, I still think we're going to get this deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes, and I do believe the fee is around £62 million. So maybe with what I read yesterday, them stories could have proven to be a bit cynical of what they said, because obviously now Talksport have just reported out today, I think it was, now saying that he's not going to be flying to the UK to undergo his medical with Manchester United, because the Talksport have said that a fee has not currently been agreed. But we are going to get this deal over the line anyway for Bruno Fernandes. Obviously for the entirety of the summer, he's been linked to move to Manchester United. We've been in talks with Sporting Lisbon for quite some time over getting a deal over the line. I do believe it came out a while back about this, saying that we'd agreed the personal terms with Sporting Lisbon and Bruno Fernandes. The contract and that had been agreed. We was orchestrating on giving around 100 grand a week, which equates to around just over I think it's around 5.5 million a year. But obviously, the Sporting Lisbon's actual valuation is actually seemed to be the stumbling block, because we've confirmed, we're not intending on overspending on our transfer targets. But it initially said, Sporting Lisbon, value Bruno Fernandes around £70 million. And obviously, Manchester United were not determined, to pay £70 million for his services. Reports indicated out earlier on this week saying that we was orchestrating on putting around the 49 or 50 million pound bidding for him, but obviously this figure is too insufficient for Sporting Lisbon. So potentially, I do believe now it's only Manchester United anywhere there that having the running for Bruno Fernandes. Initially, before Tottenham winning for him, I do believe Liverpool and that winning for him, because obviously Tottenham themselves are looking to do more transfer activity this summer. I know they're not in now for Bruno Fernandes, but Tottenham have signed 2 players this summer. They've signed 2 players this summer. They got Jack Clark from Leeds. He's being loaned back to Leeds for next season. And they also got Tanguy Ndombele. Obviously, they smashed their transfer record, to currently, get Tanguy Ndombele. But obviously, Tottenham's expectations probably will be in this season is to probably win the league. This is what win a trophy. This is obviously what Pochettino will currently want to do, because obviously Pochettino hasn't proven himself yet in terms of winning any silverware. So he hasn't got the proven pedigree of winning any silverware, but he is still a good manager that can develop. He's good at developing young players. He's well proven and that in the Premier League, and like I said, I do want to do more transfer activity. So I think initially Tottenham are orchestrating on spending a substantial amount this summer, but Tottenham may get a couple of more deals wrapped up. They're in for Giovanni Lo Celso, they've been in for Ryan Sessegnon for quite some time of Tottenham. They've been relentlessly linked to Ryan Sessegnon. Obviously they're also in now for Paulo Dybala, but Tottenham I don't think now anyway are no longer in for Bruno Fernandes. I think TalkSport did mention, or was it another media outlet, that Bruno Fernandes' agent has obviously been to the UK quite a few times. I do believe he's in the UK now, if I'm right. Obviously, he wants to, get the best deal for his current client and all that. But I do believe Bruno Fernandes will come to Manchester United. Won't be announced today, I should presume. It may be announced sometime next week. But yeah, his agent has been here to the UK quite a few times. But the situation with Paul Pogba anyway, he's not having any effect on Bruno Fernandes, coming here to Manchester United anywhere. Bruno Fernandes coming to Manchester United anywhere. So regardless what happens with Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, I should presume, should still, currently come in. But yeah, I think he'd be fantastic for us. 24 years of age. Still got a lot of years ahead of him. And I think Sporting Lisbon's boss. He's come out this week quite a few times. He's been talking about the speculation about Bruno Fernandes, and he's basically been talking on his behalf. He's basically said as the boss of Sporting Lisbon, he said that Bruno Fernandes could leave. He did say his future is still up in the air, but he's aware that there's clubs that are keen on currently signing Bruno Fernandes, and he basically said that Sporting Lisbon, am I going to find it hard to find an adequate replacement? But we actually believed early on this week that the majority of the speculation about Bruno Fernandes was actually stemming from Portugal, his homeland, rather than Manchester. And Federico Fernandes said early on this week, who was the president of Sporting Lisbon, he actually notified us, what kind of fee would have to pay, to convince Sporting Lisbon to offload him. And obviously, he did say we'd have to pay upwards of £56 million. But it actually said the other week. It actually said the other week that the Manchester United board were not backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with this particular signing, because Ed Woodward had reportedly said no to Bruno Fernandes because the Manchester United board felt as though it was too expensive. We had concerns about spending quite a bit of money on a player that's knows little about Champions League football, and to be fair, he doesn't know much about Champions League football. He hasn't really got a lot of experience of playing to the highest level as Bruno Fernandes, but I think he'll definitely have all the attributes to come and succeed in the Premier League. He'll exceed expectation levels in the Premier League, and looking at ultimately, he will dramatically improve us in our midfield, because he can score goals. His work ethic's good. He can also create chances. Can Bruno Fernandes? He scored 32 goals in 50 games last season for Sporting Lisbon. Don't forget, did Bruno Fernandes, and obviously he's been in Portugal 2 years, and he's set up really, really well. And Bruno Fernandes' initial release cost is around £88 million. Obviously, Man United are not determined to go anywhere near that figure. He's still got about 3.5-4 years left in his contract with Sporting Lisbon, because he's under contract with them until 2023. Actually, reports indicated out earlier on this week saying allegedly, PSG had entered the race for Bruno Fernandes. But, Sporting Lisbon, I think now, obviously, they've been coming to accept the fact that he does want to leave, because Bruno Fernandes before, had negotiations with his representatives, regarding a move to Old Trafford. So basically, Bruno Fernandes, I think, wants to leave Sporting Lisbon, and he wants to come to Manchester United, and he does want to relish this opportunity, while he currently can. But like I said, we do need a couple of new additions in that midfield. I think we need 2 new additions in that midfield. I think with Bruno Fernandes, just if he was the only midfielder to come in, I would be a bit sceptical about that, because obviously I think we need another midfielder alongside him. So if Bruno Fernandes and Milinkovic Savic were to come in, I think there'd be a fantastic base. I think they complement each other well in our midfield with Bruno Fernandes and Milinkovic Savic, and it'd be even more beneficial if Paul Pogba was to stay as well. Imagine them in our midfield, Bruno Fernandes, Milinkovic Savic, and Paul Pogba, and all the rest of the midfielders we've got. We would look very, very strong in that midfield. But even if Pogba goes and we bring Bruno Fernandes in and we bring Milinkovic Savic in, I think we'd look pretty strong in that midfield, because let's be honest, you can't put Bruno Fernandes or Milinkovic Savic in Paul Pogba's calibre or level, even though Paul Pogba hasn't really been the player at Manchester United as we all thought he would have been. But we have still seen glimpses of his best form. When Paul Pogba is in his best form, he's like 2 players in one, and he's definitely one of the best midfielders in the world when he's currently on his best form. Without a shadow of a doubt, is Paul Pogba. But, we're very adamant anyway, that Paul Pogba is not for sale. But with Bruno Fernandes, like I said, he'll succeed in the Premier League, I do believe. Obviously spent the majority of his career in Italy, when he was younger. But yeah, Bruno Fernandes, I think, has, confirmed quite some time that he does want to leave Sporting Lisbon. I think it also said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, has revealed that he wants to play Bruno Fernandes as a number 10. So obviously wants to play him as an attacking midfield and just wants to put him behind the centre forward. Maybe, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer believes that's his preferred position. That's where he'll do well. That's where we'll see the best of Bruno Fernandes as a number 10, and probably will fulfill that position, really, really well. So yeah, Talksport have basically said that he's not set to fly to the UK for a medical, reportedly, and I think that's the only thing, that's the only thing that's being mentioned about that in that media outlet. But the rest of the other media outlets were saying today that he's hours away from being officially announced as a Manchester United player. Reportedly, a £62 million fee has been agreed, as that did confirm yesterday. But that's what United basically currently said. But reportedly it said yesterday, we reached a transfer agreement. Manchester United reached a transfer agreement, with Sporting Lisbon and all that. It was actually not coming from the Italian press that said that. And so I think we'll definitely still get the deal over the line. And I think he is going to be our third signing this summer. So looking at if Bruno Fernandes comes in, if Milinkovic-Savic comes in, if Harry Maguire comes in, obviously because we need a central defender, that will probably mount up to around what, we won't include Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka of already what we spent. So we get Bruno Fernandes, obviously that's 65 million, it's about 62 million, sorry, there. We get Harry Maguire for the 80 million pounds. What's that? That's around what, 142 million pounds there. And say, we get Milinkovic-Savic, say maybe we get him for around 70 odd million pounds, even though Lazio held him for 90 odd million pounds. That's around what? That's around over 200 million pounds there on our 3-year players, if my calculation is currently right. But we could see what happens. But with the Milinkovic-Savic, like I said, I do believe no fee has been agreed between Manchester United and Lazio as yet. I don't think Manchester United yet put a formal offer in. Even though reports indicated out earlier on this week, and this was actually stemming from the Italian outlet La Repubblica. They said earlier on this week that allegedly Manchester United had reached an agreement with Lazio for Milinkovic-Savic, and it reportedly said a fee of around 75 million euros had been agreed, which equates to around 67 million in pounds sterling. And it reportedly said that Milinkovic-Savic had agreed a 5-year contract with Manchester United, which would take him under contract with the club until 2024. But the Daily Mail have actually reported saying that no fee has yet come to an agreement. Obviously Lazio are demanding that they want around 90 million pounds. I do believe Manchester United were around 80 million pounds short of their valuation, because reportedly we're willing to offer around 72 million pounds. I do believe the Lazio boss has come to accept the fact that Milinkovic-Savic does want to leave, and he's admitted that they may be forced to sell. He does know how much of an imperative player he is, does the Lazio manager, and he's said he'd love to keep Milinkovic-Savic at the club, but obviously he's basically said that Milinkovic-Savic could currently leave. And he reportedly said earlier on this week that Milinkovic-Savic had told his teammates that he's going to be leaving Lazio this summer. Milinkovic-Savic's agent has been in talks with Manchester United, because obviously he arrived in the UK earlier on this week, and I still believe he remains in the UK now. Obviously he wants to thrash out a deal for his client to join Manchester United, but we do know Manchester United have been relentlessly linked to a move from Milinkovic-Savic. Reflecting back last summer, was in for Milinkovic-Savic, but I do believe last summer Lazio did want around over £100 million for the player. Under the Jose Mourinho era, I do believe Jose Mourinho instructed scouts to watch the player. So we've been long admirers, and we've been long admirers of the player. We've been linked to him for the last year. I do believe quite a few other teams have been in there for him. And it reportedly said Manchester United have progressed in negotiations with Lazio. Milinkovic-Savic is a pretty decent player, like I said, primarily central midfielder, so mainly box to box. I think he can also be deployed as an attacking midfielder, can Milinkovic-Savic reportedly. But I think he's primarily a central midfielder. Only 24 years of age. He's Serbian. Obviously, he's been at Lazio 4 years, and the majority of his 4 years with Lazio, we've seen glimpses of his best form. I think he reportedly has been inconsistent in the last 5 or 6 months. But Milinkovic-Savic, I think he's technically a good footballer. His work ethic's supposed to be good. And I think if he came to Manchester United, our midfield, would look very, very balanced. Especially if Bruno Fernandes was to come in as well, our midfield, would look really, really good. Milinkovic-Savic in his 4 years with Lazio scored 22 goals in 125 games, and he scored 22 goals in 125 games, and I think in all competitions he scored 31 goals in 138 appearances as Milinkovic-Savic. So he can score goals, so he has got a proven pedigree as a goal scorer as Milinkovic-Savic. Don't get me wrong, these better players out there than Milinkovic-Savic, but he's obviously never played in the Premier League, but neither has Bruno Fernandes. He's never played in the Premier League, but I do believe, both players, if they come to Manchester United, they definitely would currently succeed. But Sky in Italy reported out a couple of weeks ago, saying that Manchester United, we was orchestrating on putting around the £72 million bidding for him, but Lazio are demanding £90 million, and obviously, the Lazio president has currently confirmed this. But I think he's still got around, is it around 3.5, 4 years left on his contract with Lazio because he signed a new deal with them last October. So there has been a lot of talks about, Milinkovic Savic going on for quite some time. Maybe he may not come to Manchester United yet, Milinkovic Savic. Bruno Fernandes looks he's moved to Manchester United, looks very probable, but Milinkovic Savic, he's moved to Manchester United, doesn't seem probable as yet, because I don't think a fee has yet been agreed, even though reports said earlier on this week that allegedly a fee had been agreed between Manchester United and Lazio, but reportedly Lazio want £90 million. I don't think Manchester United are willing, to currently pay. Well, maybe, we are willing to pay 90 million. Obviously not all in one go. Maybe we'll be willing to pay so much up front. Then obviously, there would be add-ons included in the deal, which could potentially rise up to 90 million pounds, maybe closer to the 90 million pound figure. But initially said earlier on this week that 67 million pounds had been agreed, and it said the deal was worth around 71 million, because obviously there was around 4 million in add-ons included. But Milinkovic Savic to Manchester United yet, I'm still not sure about that. But don't get me wrong, I would love him, to currently come in. And like I said, maybe he's moved to Manchester United anywhere. Is dependent on what happens with Paul Pogba. Give the latest news now in regards to Harry Maguire from Leicester. Now, a bit more additional information was updated about him. Now, I think initially Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's top priority, was to recommend the centre-half in, then focus on, addressing that midfield down. Now, reportedly, we are ready to sign Harry Maguire on one condition, and that's if, of course, we can sell Lukaku to Inter Milan. So if we do sell Lukaku to Inter Milan, then we are looking to sign Harry Maguire, and we are willing to pay the £80 million that Leicester are currently demanding and all that. So we do potentially know that Harry Maguire wants to leave Leicester, because he informed Brendan Rodgers about this. He also informed his Leicester teammates that he wants to leave Leicester, to obviously rejuvenate his career and take his footballing career to the next level. And I think he does want to make the move to Manchester United, and I think he does want to relish this opportunity, because Harry Maguire is aware that obviously it will rejuvenate his career, it'll take his footballing career to the next level and all that. But yeah, Leicester do want in the excess of £80 million. So Leicester, Brendan Rodgers has basically said to Harry Maguire the other week, I think it was, he'll let Harry Maguire leave Leicester as long as we're willing to meet what Leicester are demanding. So I do believe Leicester's valuation is seen to be the stumbling block, for quite some time. Brendan Rodgers has had his overarching view on it, and he's aware of Manchester United and Manchester City's interest and all that. I think he was talking about the potential bids that have been put in for Harry Maguire, and I think he did confirm that 2 bids have been currently turned down. But we've been given a boost in our pursuit of Harry Maguire, because Brendan Rodgers came out and he insists that there's there is no cut-off date in which they would no longer consider selling Harry Maguire. So there is no cut-off date, as Brendan Rodgers has currently confirmed, because the reports the other week came out saying that he actually imposed a deadline on any potential bids for Harry Maguire. But I do believe Leicester are coming to accept the fact, of course, that he does want to leave the club. But yeah, reportedly, if we can sell Lukaku, then we're going to get the transfer completed for Harry Maguire. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, has instructed Ed Woodward to get a deal completed for Harry Maguire. So he's instructed Ed Woodward to do this, and obviously based on the injury that Eric Bailly sustained, because obviously Eric Bailly has sustained a serious knee injury, and he's obviously a big doubt for this season. Obviously he came off during our 2-1 win against Tottenham. Eric Bailly, I think his Manchester United career has been mainly affected the amount of injuries sustained, obviously with his fallout with the managers. But to be fair, I still think Eric Bailly is an imperative player, and of course he has got a great potential and all that, but he's sustained so many injuries as a Manchester United player, and of course he has been here just over 3 years. But like I said, we've got to get a central defender in, at least one, because we've got issues defensively, and I don't think we've had a world-class central defender since we had the likes of Vidic and Fernandes and all that. And obviously last season we conceded 54 goals in 38 Premier League games, but I think we'll have a better season this season anyway. Last season we finished 6th, obviously we failed to qualify for the Champions League, and Champions League football is always very pivotal. When you do want to get your number one targets, attract players to elite level, and also try and convince your imperative players to stay at the football club. But I know we haven't got Champions League football, but I still think Harry Maguire, of course, wants to come in. But it has been mainly Man United and Manchester City that have been battling out for his services. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has identified him as his number one defensive target. Some reports say Leicester value him at £90 million, but we wouldn't be willing to pay £90 million to Harry Maguire, because that's too extortionate. So we're looking to get a transfer completed. Of course, if we can sell Romelu Lukaku to Inter Milan, so obviously, we'll be orchestrating on generating the funds from Lukaku's departure, then putting them funds we've generated on Harry Maguire. So that's initially the current plan. But yeah, like I said today, and I updated you yesterday, reportedly now Leicester have told Manchester United, they want a higher transfer fee up front, because Leicester believe, Leicester don't think, that we'll qualify for the Champions League next season. Well, actually, we failed to qualify for the Champions League 3 times in the 6 seasons, since Alex Ferguson's retirement and all that. So they don't believe we'll qualify for the Champions League next season, so they want a higher transfer fee up front. I do believe so far we've offered around £72 million with additional bonus payments, due based on trophies and us obviously finishing in the top 4. So it did reportedly say that these additional bonus payments will be paid if we do get Champions League qualification secured. But Leicester have said they want a higher transfer fee up front. Obviously with Harry Maguire, he actually played for Leicester yesterday, was it, in their pre-season game. I think it was against Stoke. Did Leicester win by 2 goals to 1. But looking at that how could be Harry Maguire's farewell appearance for Leicester, so that may well could be Harry Maguire's last game in a Leicester City shirt. But it has been, Manchester United and Manchester City battling out for his service. Reflecting back a couple of weeks ago, it's looking like, Man City were going to get Harry Maguire. It was looking like, Manchester City were going to get Harry Maguire. City, obviously, was orchestrating on paying him around, 280 grand a week. Obviously, it said City were going to get him for the world record fee of £80 million. But obviously, City had initially withdrawn their interest, because obviously, City are not willing to pay what Leicester are currently demanding, because obviously, Leicester want 80 million. I think City are only willing to pay around £65 million. But I do believe actually Harry Maguire's first choice preference was actually Manchester City over Manchester United at one point, and I think he was keen on playing under Pep Guardiola's guidance. But yeah, I think we're definitely in a pole position to definitely sign the player. Don't forget, we've already had a £70 million bid turned down for him. Obviously this was too insufficient for Leicester, but City have been in talks with Leicester. We've been in talks with Leicester for quite a long time now over getting a deal concluded, and I do believe now we are still in talks with Leicester over getting a deal finalised, but no figures yet come to an agreement between Manchester United and Leicester. No figures yet come to an agreement. But even though it literally said last Sunday, and it got proven to be a load of nonsense, and it was this, on that particular story, it was just the media, justifying their existence on that. It said last week, I thought there was some truth in it, but it turned out there wasn't. It initially said, we'd agreed around an £80 million deal, with Leicester for Harry Maguire, which is obviously a world record fee, because Leicester want a world record fee. And it did suggest out, this was coming from Bleacher Report, that his transfer from Leicester to Manchester United was very, very imminent. So that got proven to be all the nonsense. Then you got Duncan Castles coming out quite a few weeks back again. The narrative about that got proven to be a load of nonsense. Again, this was stemmed from Duncan Castles, who isn't always reliable, and he said a couple of weeks ago, like he updated you on, he said that Manchester United agreed £80 million deal with Leicester for Harry Maguire, and he said initially would pay £60 million up front with £20 million in add-ons, and it said the other week he was set to, a couple of weeks ago, he was set to undergo his Manchester United medical, but it got proven, of course, to be a load of nonsense. So, like I said, no fee has yet, come to an agreement. Obviously, if we do get him, obviously he's going to become the most expensive defender in world football, ahead of Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk, because obviously he's the most expensive defender in the world at the moment, and Liverpool paid £75 million for him, but he's addressed their defensive deficiencies fantastically well, and you can't put Harry Maguire in Virgil van Dijk's calibre or level, because Virgil van Dijk for me is regarded as the best centre-half in the world basically, so Harry Maguire is nowhere near as good as him, but I still think he'll dramatically improve our backline. Harry Maguire, I think him and Lindelof would be fantastic in our backline. They complement each other really, really well, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does want to partner up Harry Maguire alongside Victor Lindelof in our backline. I think Victor Lindelof himself is excited about the prospect of Harry Maguire playing alongside him, but I do think there would be absolutely fantastic, and he's well Premier League proven as well as Harry Maguire, so that's also very beneficial for Manchester United. 26 years of age, has still got a lot of years ahead of him as Harry Maguire, don't forget. Like I said, in his 2 years with Leicester, he's made 76 appearances in all competitions. 69 of those appearances have come in the Premier League. League. Obviously, like I said, he only signed a new long-term contract with Leicester last summer, so he's under contract with them until 2023, and Leicester paid around £17 million for his services there for Hull City. Don't forget, Harry Maguire has played under Mike Phelan's guidance. Don't forget, because Mike Phelan did have a short tenure with Hull, and I do believe Mike Phelan's instructed Manchester United there to go and get a deal over the line. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's identified him as his number one defensive target. But his stability is good, Harry Maguire. He shows that ability to part from the back. I think his passing ability is very, very good. He's not very fast, but I don't think that's currently an issue. But yeah, we've definitely not got to get a central defender in, because we need to see improvements defensively. Obviously, last season we was poor defensively, like I said. And, reflecting back last summer under the Jose Mourinho era, our actual, priority, was to recommend a central defender to come in. But reflecting back last summer, the board weren't backing the signs that Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend to come in. And one of the players we wanted last summer, of course, was Harry Maguire. But, Leicester are under no financial pressure, to sell Harry Maguire, because obviously they've priced him out of the market and they're demanding an extortionate amount, because Leicester deep down don't want to sell him, and they do know how much of an imperative player he is. But I do believe he's definitely not going to be coming out to Manchester United. So I do believe our next two signings is probably going to be Bruno Fernandes. He's going to be the third, and then Harry Maguire is currently going to be the fourth in total. And then hopefully we can get a deal over the line for Milinkovic Savic. So I initially said to you, didn't I, earlier on in my video, like I said, if you want, we'll discard Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka. If we sign with what we've signed, if we sign these three players, say we get Bruno Fernandes 62 million, obviously, say you get Milinkovic Savic around maybe 70 odd million, something like that. 70 odd million or something like that. Say you get Harry Maguire for around £80 million. That's going to take our spending up to over £200 odd million, including 65 million we've already spent on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka. But yeah, I said, we definitely not need to bring more players in. But with Victor Lindelof, he's very essential for Manchester United. But I do believe Harry Maguire is a better option than any of our defenders at the moment. But with Victor Lindelof, I do believe, he's flourishing in this Manchester United team. I thought, in his first season, he was inconsistent, didn't really settle in. But I thought in his second season, Victor Lindelof, really stepped up to the plate. And I thought, there was vast improvements in his game. I thought his performances were really, really good and all that. And I think Victor Lindelof, will get better and better and better. So yeah, he's definitely imperative is Victor Lindelof. Some people have maybe said, we need two central defenders, but we'll probably do need at least one. But yeah, we've definitely not got to get a central defender in there. That's very, very essential. But I do believe if we get Harry Maguire in, the club will orchestrate on selling one central defender anyway, because analysing, we have got a lot of central defenders. You've got, obviously, Rojo, you've got Lindelof, we've got Smalling, we've got Jones, we've got Alex Tuanzebe, we've got Eric Bailly, so we've got a lot of central defenders and all that. But I initially said we need to sell players anyway, to help us generate funds and, of course, rebuild the squad. But we probably will orchestrate on selling the central defender if Harry Maguire, can, currently come in. And I think also Harry Maguire has demanded that he does want to become captain of Manchester United if he's moved to Manchester United, does currently materialise. But yes, like I said, we're looking to sign Harry Maguire as soon as as soon as we have sold Romelu Lukaku. So then we are going to go in then for Harry Maguire, and we are, of course, going to step up our interest. But like I said, there's been a lot of central defenders on our agenda. Like I said, we was willing to pay around £100 million for a central defender last summer, because obviously we do need a world-class central defender. There's still people talking about Toby Alderweireld, and some people saying, we should still bring Toby Alderweireld in. But nah, I wouldn't bring Toby Alderweireld in. I know he's well Premier League proven, and it would be beneficial for Manchester United. And obviously, looking at it from a financial point of view, Toby Alderweireld, would be a much cheaper solution than Harry Maguire. And obviously, he's available for £25 million, don't forget. But I think now recent reports have indicated now that Toby Alderweireld is set to stay at Tottenham, but obviously Manchester United were in for him last summer. At one point, De Ligt was our priority target. Obviously confirmed now De Ligt is staying. He's obviously gone to Juventus, so he's out of the equation. There's still people saying we are seeing Koulibaly as an alternative to Harry Maguire if we don't get Harry Maguire in. With Koulibaly, like I said, I think there was a lot of contradictions about the stories about Koulibaly, and I think, I'm very sceptical about him coming to Manchester United. I think the only way, we could get Koulibaly is if we was willing to pay silly amounts of money. Probably would cost, he'd probably cost a bit more than Harry Maguire, maybe not much more, but would cost them a bit more. But yeah, I don't think he's currently coming in, because obviously, Koulibaly, I think Napoli, basically, reluctant to offload him. Was also in for Rafael Varane at one point. But yeah, if we get, it's going to be Harry Maguire. That's, definitely currently going to be coming to Manchester United and all that. But yeah, we've definitely get a central defender in at the club. Obviously, we still know that there's a lot of talks, going on about Sean Longstaff from Newcastle. Now, obviously, we do know that with him for him. Obviously, Sean Longstaff is primarily a central midfielder, so mainly box to box. But I'm very, very sceptical about, about Sean Longstaff now coming to Manchester United. I'm sceptical about him coming to Manchester United because I think, Newcastle have obviously, indicated out that he's not for sale. And it did say, Newcastle are only willing to offload him for at least £50 million. So they'll only entertain offers of £50 million. And I'm very, very sceptical about Manchester United, currently paying that. And obviously, Steve Bruce has just been appointed recently as Newcastle's new manager. Obviously, following the dismissal of Rafael Benitez last month. And he's, like I said, he's had his say on the speculation. And Steve Bruce insists that, Sean Longstaff's future lies with Newcastle, and he basically, is dismissed speculations of, Sean Longstaff joining Manchester United, even though he has been on our agenda for quite some time. But I just don't think, we would be willing to pay up to £50 million for his services, because obviously, that's too extortionate, for a player of Sean Longstaff's calibre or level. Because I've got the, similar sort of thoughts about Daniel James. He's, like I said about Daniel James, he's a prospect and he's still the upcoming, and he's still upcoming and needs time to develop. And like I said, same with Sean Longstaff, he needs time to develop. He's still the upcoming future, because Sean Longstaff only made his debut for Newcastle in December of last year. He's only got 9 games under his belt, to his name, should I say? Because obviously, he did well in the second half of last season. Don't get me wrong, he did thrive under Rafa Benitez's guidance. Did Sean Longstaff? Put some good performances in. I think reflecting on his impressive performances, he got given a new contract, so he is under contract with Newcastle until 2022. As Sean Longstaff, because he signed his 4-year contract. It wasn't too long ago actually he signed this 4-year contract. But like I said, we've held high-level talks with Newcastle about Sean Longstaff. And I think it's said, we haven't made any official bid as yet. He did initially say recently, we was orchestrating on putting around a £30 million bidding for him. And 21 years of age is Sean Longstaff. Like I said, he's British. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talents to Manchester United this summer. But he's only 21 years of age, and he has still got a lot of development in him. If he was to come to Manchester United, I don't know if he'd be assured for his team football week in, week out. Anyway, I definitely would get the opportunity, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's giving everyone the opportunity, like he initially said when he came in as interim manager on the 19th of December last year, and he did give everybody the chance, the fringe players, the young players, the experienced players, and obviously he's doing it now in pre-season. He's giving everybody the opportunity, and I think majority of the team, will get the opportunity in the Premier League this season. So that's obviously, very, very good indeed. The youth are definitely, going to get more chances this season. But with Sean Longstaff, he's definitely not worth £50 million. So basically, Newcastle have priced him the current transfer market. Sean Longstaff didn't play the last couple of months of last season anyway, due to a knee ligament injury he had sustained in March. But yeah, like I said, he began his career with Newcastle because he was a product of their academy. Obviously, I think he also had loan spells with Kilmarnock and Blackpool. But I thought initially, we'd been given a boost in our pursuit of Sean Longstaff. So yeah, he's another midfielder that, of course, that Manchester United have been in for. But analysing our midfield as it stands at the moment, it's potentially not good enough, because we've got the likes of Fred. I'm very sceptical about Fred. He's getting his opportunities under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, which is very, very good, and he did well towards the back end of last season. To be fair, Fred never really got the opportunity under Mourinho. We did pay £50 million for him last summer, but you know what, guys? I think we overpaid for Fred. Was it just under £50 million we paid for him? But it was near £50 million if it wasn't £50 million. But, he did well at Shakhtar Donetsk. He was a really good player at Shakhtar Donetsk. He exceeded expectation levels, but, he hasn't really replicated this, since he has come to Manchester United. So he hasn't got a fantastic pedigree as Fred. I'm very, very sceptical about Fred, if I'm going to be quite honest. I think he's probably more mobile than Nemanja Matic, but, I've still got concerns about Fred this moment in time. But we need to give him time, to develop and all that, and basically, see what, currently happens this season. So he may improve this season, with Fred, but he did well towards the back end of last season. We've got McTominay. McTominay is definitely not going to get given more chances this season. I think he's done well in pre-season as well, McTominay, and he's still inexperienced at the moment. But like this is why I said pre-season is beneficial. It gives upcoming players a chance, to get a bit more experience under their belt and all that. McTominay's done well in pre-season. Obviously we've got Andres Pereira. I don't think he's done currently too bad. We've got Matic. I think we should have sold Matic really. I think we need to get rid of Matic anyway. I know he's going to be at Manchester United this season, but I think maybe in maybe in the January transfer window, I think the club need to orchestrate on selling him, or maybe next summer of next year we should orchestrate on selling Matic, because he's not good enough for the club. He's not good enough to represent Manchester United. He's too inconsistent, he's too slow, he's too ineffective. He's not getting any younger, he's aging up, and I think when he plays in that midfield, that midfield looks narrowed. He seems to slow that midfield down because Matic is very, very static. So I think we can't. I don't think we should play him a lot this season, Matic, because he's too inconsistent. Don't get me wrong, I've seen glimpses of his best form, and I saw it towards the back end of last season. Matic did put some good performances in, and he can pass the ball well at times, but I just think he's currently too slow his Matic. So I've got many strong concerns about him. But we get Bruno Fernandes and Lingfield Savage in that midfield. I will be very, very happy indeed, without a shadow of a doubt. I'll be really, really happy. As I have been updating you on a regular basis in regards to Romelu Lukaku. Now, I said earlier on in the video, we're looking to sign Harry Maguire when we do currently sell Romelu Lukaku. Now, not much more information is updated about Lukaku, since I gave you my update on my last current video. Obviously, we do know there's been talks going on in the last day or two, about Paul Dybala and Lukaku as potential swap deals. It said reportedly Juventus are willing to offer Dybala in a swap deal for Lukaku. I think the majority of Manchester United fans, would take that with a pinch of salt and all that, and I think that would be very beneficial for Manchester United, seeing Lukaku go to Juventus and Dybala coming to Manchester United and all that. There's been quite a lot of talks going on about Dybala anyway quite recently, because we do know he's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation as Paulo Dybala. Obviously recent reports have said Tottenham are in for him. Obviously Tottenham have been in talks with Juventus over an audacious move. And I think he's confirmed Dybala. He's changed his transfer stance. He's had negotiation with Maurizio Sarri, and I do believe now his actual decision is to actually leave Juventus, or he's considering leaving Juventus. Discarding Dybala as being part of any swap deal, is probably going to cost us around from between 70 to 90 million pounds, because reports emerged out early on this week saying he said yes to a transfer away from Juventus, and Juventus are open to selling him, but they would only sell him if they were to receive around between 70 to 90 million pounds for the player. Like I said, discarding him being part of any swap deal, it is dependent on our move for Dybala. Would be dependent on whether we could sell Paul Pogba or Romelu Lukaku. If Dybala, of course, is not part of the deal with Lukaku and all that. But I think initially Dybala had said yes to a transfer to Tottenham, but he's been on our agenda for quite some time, and I do believe Dybala would be a good replacement for Romelu Lukaku. But Dybala, like I said, hasn't played in the Premier League as yet, but I think in the majority of his 4 years in Turin, he's done really, really well. He scored a lot of goals. I think in all competitions he's made 182 appearances for Juventus and scored I think 78 goals. I think he's been named in the Serie A Team of the Year on 3 occasions, and he's also won 4 Serie A's and 3 Coppa Italians during his 4 years in Turin. Juventus paid around €40 million for him back in 2015 from Parma. And I think he's under contract with Juventus until 2022. But Paul Dybala, he's agile. He's an agile player. He's creative. He's good in the air thing. He's got endless potential. He's an efficient finisher. Enjoyed a difficult time last season. Wasn't really his best form last season, because obviously since the arrival of Cristiano Ronaldo, Paul Dybala has found himself served his 2 requirements. But I'd love him to be a part of the deal with Romelu Lukaku. Juventus probably open to selling a couple of their players, because obviously they want to generate funds, because they've done good business this summer. They spent an extortionate amount on Cristiano Ronaldo last summer, did Juventus. And I think, Lukaku was talking about, Juventus a while back. And a while back, it was actually his first choice preference was Juventus, because I think Lukaku was excited about the prospect of linking up with Cristiano Ronaldo in Juventus' squad. But we do know for quite a while that he's obviously been heavily linked to move to Inter Milan as Romelu Lukaku. But potentially, I think our valuation seems to be the stumbling block, Lukaku making his proposal move to Inter Milan, because obviously we said we want around 75 or 80 million pounds. Obviously we're looking to recoup the money that we did pay for him from Everton a couple of years ago, or maybe even orchestrating on gaining a little bit of a profit. But I think our valuation seems to be the stumbling block, and Inter Milan are struggling to meet our 75 or 80 million pound valuation. Obviously I think Inter Milan have tried to offload a couple of their players to help them generate funds to meet that 75 or 80 million pound valuation. But obviously Inter Milan have failed to do this, and I think Inter Milan are under financial fair play play restrictions and all that. But I do believe if we sell Lukaku, it would be beneficial for the club. It'll also be beneficial for the player himself, because obviously he's surplus to requirements now at Manchester United, because obviously since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in, which was around 6 or 7 months ago now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice preference has been Rashford ahead of Romelu Lukaku, and of course Lukaku is obviously become infuriated about this. But for the majority of the summer, or for the entirety of the summer, or should I say the large portion of the summer, that Lukaku has been speaking about his proposed move to Inter Milan. Obviously Inter Milan have obviously been in talks with Manchester United. Obviously as it did confirm a couple of days ago that obviously we had returned, the Man United squad had returned from China to return to Manchester. Lukaku initially arrived at Manchester and he immediately boarded a flight to Belgium to go meet up with his agent Federico Pastorelli to discuss a potential move to Inter Milan. And I do believe Lukaku's agent has held quite a few talks with Inter Milan and all that. I think he was has he been in Milan this week, if I'm right, Federico Pastorelli, but he said that Inter Milan are desperate to currently sign. Obviously Inter Milan have travelled to the UK. They was in the UK a couple of weeks ago, having negotiations with Manchester United, but Lukaku has confirmed he wants to leave the football club. Obviously, Solskjaer's held talks with him, and like Solskjaer said, he's spoken to the vast majority of our players this summer. He's spoken to the vast majority of our players this summer, but Lukaku does want to leave the football club, as he has currently confirmed. And obviously, Antonio Conte has identified, Romelu Lukaku as his number one target, And obviously, reflecting back a couple of years ago when Antonio Conte, was the manager of Chelsea. Obviously, at that point he wanted Lukaku, but he obviously ended up making the move to Manchester United. And I believe we overpaid for Lukaku anywhere. I think we paid far too much for him. Paid 75 million, and there was actual several add-ons, including the deal of 15 million. So in this year, isn't it to around 90 million pounds? Lukaku, of course, has still got 3 years left on his contract term, and that with Manchester United, and he is on around 250 grand a week. I think that's what he's on. So he's actually one of the highest paid players at the club as well as the second most expensive signing and all that. But he's still got 3 years left on his current contract. But Lukaku did describe Antonio Conte as one of the best managers in the world. So I do believe that Lukaku is keen on playing under his guidance, because probably believes he'll flourish under Antonio Conte's guidance. But Lukaku obviously hasn't played in pre-season. He hasn't even made an appearance on pre-season. He didn't make an appearance on pre-season tour, because initially, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer allegedly said basically, well, he did say it, but he allegedly was basically injured. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer confirmed and that he was currently injured. I think it did allegedly say that he had some kind of ankle problem. But with him missing them games, that's going to add more speculation in regards to Romelu Lukaku's long-term future. But like I said, we're looking to recruit what we paid for him from Everton a couple of years ago. But our valuation anywhere has seemed to be the current stumbling block. Obviously, as it confirmed earlier on this week, was it, Inter Milan had a £54 million bid turned down. They've obviously, also inquired about getting Romelu Lukaku on a 2-year loan with the obligation to buy. But again, Manchester United didn't entertain this offer. But reports indicated out the other month saying that allegedly, Lukaku had agreed the personal terms with Inter Milan. It also said he agreed a contract with Inter Milan worth around 180 grand a week, but no fee, of course, as yet, come to an agreement. And Lukaku, like I said, he's been at Manchester United 2 years. Obviously, he was exceptional in his first season with the club and all that. I think he scored 27 goals in all competitions in his first season, but didn't really replicate that in his second season. And in all competitions, I think he scored 42 goals in 96 games for Manchester United. But, credit Lukaku, he's still well Premier League proven. His goal scoring pedigree, and that's fantastic in the Premier League, because he has scored a lot of goals in the Premier League. But you do now have got many concerns about Lukaku. His first touch concerns me. He's a big game bottler. Obviously, he doesn't really have that endless potential, not really reliable enough, to get them runs in behind. When he does get that support, Lukaku can play well at times, as he has proven at Manchester United. But definitely not reliable enough, to play up front on his own. But initially, Lukaku is going to find it difficult to get in the team now. Anywhere you've got Rashford, who's Solskjaer's first choice preference. You've also got Martial now. You've got Daniel James in there. We've got Mason Greenwood that's upcoming, who's going to be playing this season in the Premier League. Obviously, you've got Chon as well. So Lukaku is going to find it very, very hard, to get in that mix. So I think we definitely need to get rid of him. But I initially said anyway, if we get rid of Lukaku, we're going to need a current replacement for him. And like I said, I think Dybala would be fantastic. I think, there was obviously talks about Wissam Ben Yedder quite a few weeks back now. There's been talks about Moussa Dembele, going on quite recently. And with Moussa Dembele, he's Moussa Dembele looks a pretty decent player, and again, I think he would be good replacement for Lukaku. You know, Moussa Dembele is 23, just recently turned 23, 23 years of age. Obviously he's actually, you know, an out and out number 9. Lukaku's a number 9, and you know, Moussa Dembele is an out and out number 9. So I think he would be a good replacement for Moussa Dembele. Obviously, I think he has played in the Premier League. I think when he was younger with Fulham, because he actually, you know, began his senior career with Fulham. Did Moussa Dembele, so he had an impressive spell with Fulham. He also had an impressive spell with Celtic with Moussa Dembele, because he had about 2 years in Scotland there with Celtic. Oh, now obviously he's at Lyon, because Lyon got him last summer from Celtic for around 19 or 20 million pounds. And I think last season for Lyon he scored 22 goals in 46 games in all competitions. So Moussa Dembele, you know, can currently score goals. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's identified him as a possible replacement for Lukaku. But only 23 years of age is Moussa Dembele. So there has been talks about him going on. You know, there's still people talking about Nicolas Pepe. Nicolas Pepe, I don't think he's coming to Manchester United. He's definitely leaving Lille. You know, as Gerard Lopez, the Lille president, confirmed early on this week. And, you know, he confirmed recently that, you know, 4 bids have been accepted, did the Lille president, you know, for Nicolas Pepe. And reportedly, recent reports came from the BBC, was it yesterday, saying that Arsenal have had a £72 million bid accepted from Lille for Nicolas Pepe, so he may actually not make the move to Arsenal, but so many teams have inquired about his services, but I don't think he's coming to Manchester United, you know, Nicolas Pepe, so I would probably say now he's, you know, currently the equation. Like I said, I think we need to sell Diamond and Rojo. We definitely need to get rid of them too. I think we've put around the £20 million valuation on Rojo, but no, we haven't received them any offers as yet. What are you doing?
Not too bad. Got me a bell that last 8 Mondays tomorrow. Got a bumper claiming tomorrow.
Have you?
Last 8 Mondays.
Alright. But yeah, I think we definitely need to sell Diamond and Rojo, but yeah. Because they've both enjoyed difficult times at the club, and yeah, but we've definitely now got to work on sell players. But I'm very hopeful Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, can get Manchester United back to success and all that. And I do believe, you know, he can currently do this, but we will currently see what happens. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer anyway is following Alex Ferguson's philosophy. I do believe he's following a policy that proved successful under Alex Ferguson. But there's been good news coming out, like I said recently, about Bruno Fernandes. TalkSport said he's not set to fly to the UK for his medical with Manchester United, according to TalkSport. And, you know, there's been good news coming out about Harry Maguire. So, us to sign Harry Maguire is dependent based on if we can sell Romelu Lukaku, according to the Daily Star today. So, anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on this channel. If you do, consider subscribe. As always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.